Hey, what is up, YouTube? Today we have a comparison of some of the best noise canceling headphones on the market. Now we have the BOSE QC35, which have been regarded as one of the best noise canceling headphones for a while. You know, the QC25, the QC15, and so on to this model. Then we have a newcomer in the game, which is the SONY MDR-1000X. It's Sony's most recent offering. It's actually $50 more expensive than this one. This one's about $350, this one's $400. You can occasionally find it on sale for about $350, but in general they're going for a little bit of a more, I think, premium approach. So in terms of weight, the QC35s are the lighter pair. They weigh about 8.3 ounces. If you compare them to the QC25s, the previous model, they are definitely a little bit heavier because they have the battery and the Bluetooth radio inside. The Sony MDR-1000Xs, call them MDRs from now on to make it easier, they are 9.7 ounces and definitely have a little bit more heft to them. And you can certainly feel that in hand and also when it's on your head. So looking at the physical controls on the BOSE QC35, we have the power button. So if you just toggle that forward, it'll turn on and connect. And you can see the light down here, which is right next to the kind of inline remote here, which on the old model you used to have on the wire here. Now it's just integrated into the headset, and that sits right on behind your back right ear here. And you can do volume down, volume up. Center one is play pause, double tap to go forward, triple tap to go back. If you hold it, it will activate the voice assistant of your choice. So that's it for physical controls on the QC35, pretty basic. The MDRs, on the other hand, have a lot more control. So if we look down on the left bottom here, you can press here, and you hold that for about 2 seconds. You'll hear the pairing voice connect. And then by default, it'll turn this button on, which is the noise canceling. And then up here, you have the ambient sound button, which I'll get into a bit later. So those are the 3 physical controls here. But then you actually have on the right ear cup, you have a touch interface, which on this leather pad here, you can swipe forward to go forward and track, back to go backward track, up for volume up, down to go down, and then if you do the tap, tap, or double tap, you can play and pause. And so that's kind of a neat feature that they have. In terms of the Bluetooth connectivity of both of these, I have to say they're both rock solid. I never had any dropouts with them, and I've tested them well beyond the range that I would actually be using them in an ideal setting. Normally I just have my phone in my pocket or in my backpack or somewhere on me. So they claim to get about 33 feet of range, which I think is pretty accurate, but a kind of scenario that you really don't encounter very often. Also, in terms of connectivity, these can actually connect to multiple Bluetooth devices at the same time, the QC35s. Which is kind of neat. So if I have my laptop that I'm on, and then I have it connected to my phone as well, and I'm listening to music on my laptop, if someone calls my phone, it's connected to both, so I can just answer the call like that. This MDR set only connects to one Bluetooth set at a time. So you essentially have to disconnect and reconnect to different things depending on how you want to use it, which is not a deal breaker, but can be a hassle sometimes. And also, if you look here, you can see there's a little NFC logo. The BOSE headset also on the touch side has the NFC logo here. It's really hard to see because it's engraved, but they both work flawlessly with that. If you have an Android device or computer that has NFC, super easy to pair them, and it works really well on both sets. All right, let's talk about the noise canceling a little bit. Obviously, these have been widely regarded as some of the best noise canceling headsets on the market for a while in terms of the product range. These are relatively, new, and Sony has had some options in the past, so they do have experience with noise canceling. And I have to say they've really killed it with this set. It's basically on par with the BOSE. I've only noticed a little bit of a difference in terms of, when you're in a loud environment and you're listening to. Now the cool thing about this set with the noise canceling is that you actually do have, so let me turn on again, you do have the option to turn off the noise canceling. So by default, the green light will go on. You can actually tap that again to turn it off. And then one of the coolest features that they've implemented and kind of innovated on in this game is the ambient sound feature. So if I have the headset on and I hold here, it basically passes through external audio through the microphones from the noise canceling system, which is really convenient, if you are, doing something and someone interrupts you and you gotta, listen to what they're saying. Instead of taking your whole headset off, you can just keep it on, hold, and it lets in sound. If you're gonna be in a scenario that you need to listen to external sounds, there's another button here called ambient sound. So you can tap that. First tap, it goes to ambient sound normal. And then if you tap it again, it goes to the voice setting. So this voice setting is made to actually pick up, people's voices better in terms of the audio collection, and it works super well. It's really, really a cool feature that I actually wish the QC35s had. Who knows, if they'll actually implement that, because it does have all the proper microphones needed for it. And I've actually noticed on phone calls, when you're on a phone call with this one, it does let in a bit of, it seems like it lets in some external audio from the microphones. So that is by far the coolest feature of the MDRs. They call it ambient sound. If you've ever heard of the company Bragi with the in-ear headphones, which I'll be doing another review on, they have it as audio transparency. And so this touch interface is actually very similar to what the Bragi has the forward, backwards, up, down. And so kind of cool to see that implemented on a headset as well, and done very well as well. So that leads us to the next point, which is the call quality. As I said, it's a little odd that when you put these on and have a call going, there seems to be a little bit of external sound being let in. I don't know if that's on purpose, or if it's just a defect of my headset, or if it's just meant to let you hear a little bit more around you as you're in a phone call. But it seems they seem to be very solid in terms of the call quality. I've tested with multiple people, never really had anyone complain, and I've asked for feedback and people have said that it sounded good. This set, on the other hand, I cannot say that they're great for the audio quality on a phone call, unfortunately. My roommate has this set as well. He's tried them. Doesn't seem to work that well. Multiple times I've had to disconnect my Bluetooth to just talk on the phone because people were like, I can't hear you at all. So that is definitely a little disappointing, given that it has, those rich audio features. So the BOSE headset and the BOSE product line has kind of been known just for their noise canceling. It's never been, the headset you go to for best audio quality. It's really primarily for the noise canceling. And so when you go on a plane, for example, you pass first class, business class, whatever, you see people wearing these headsets, and some of them are actually not even, plugged in or connected to an audio device, and they're just using it straight up for the actual noise canceling. So that is a feature that's, integrated into the product. You can turn it on, just use it that way. Within the app, you can set the actual auto off time, so you can have it not turn off at all, and blah blah blah, or make it more precise. This set, however, one of the downsides is that you do have to be connected to a Bluetooth device for it to stay on. It has an auto off feature. I think it's somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes, which is very short. So if you are not connected to your Bluetooth device and not, plugged in, for example, it will turn off. So you can't really use it just as a noise canceling device unless you're connected to your phone or your laptop or something, which to me is a little annoying, just because, you know, when it drains your phone's battery, and it drains the battery here more because you're using Bluetooth, when in reality there should just be an option to do what the BOSE QC35 can do and just have it on with noise canceling just for that reason. But you know, these are perhaps targeting different markets. This has probably a little bit of a more rich feature set, just in terms of customizability, whereas this is, I think it already has a pretty big market base that they're trying to appeal to. Now, going back to the amount of time that you can set to have this auto turn off and whatnot, there is a a BOSE app, which I can show you really quickly, which this connects to, and this, I've actually done a little bit of research, but from what I found online, it doesn't seem like it's going to have the actual firmware upgradability. When you do go to Sony's product page, it is listed as a product that has, you know, the list of software downloads and whatnot for it, but there's nothing there yet. So I don't know if there will be, or if they're going to eventually launch an app of some sort. But as of now, there is nothing in terms of support for this to be up. So right out of the box, there was actually an update for this, which I was able to do in the app. And I saw it added a pretty cool feature, which is kind of like a share play feature, which allows someone else with a set of Bluetooth BOSE headphones to actually connect to your app as well, so you can share music with them, which is kind of cool. If you ever used like a Logitech UE product, Ultimate Ears, they have a similar, you know, product with the kind of linking up of two or more of their devices. I haven't tested how many it can go with, but I have tested it with someone else and it worked pretty well. So that is kind of cool feature of this, that it does have firmware upgradability. One thing I'm hoping they eventually do is add the feature of ambient sound. So because it is already capable of doing so, it has the microphones. It would just be a matter of figuring out, you know, which button could do that. But that is potentially something they could add here. Whereas this is, you know, what it has is what you get right now. That could change, but I wouldn't 100% bet on that. That being said, it does have a very nice feature set, which doesn't seem like you really need much. So I just wanted to walk you guys through the cases. You can see the Sony is kind of round, BOSE is a little bit square. In terms of the layout that they fold, it's pretty much identical. They both fold flat and turn in. The Sony case does not have much storage. It has a little piece on the back, a little flap you can put stuff, and then it also has the headphone adapter for airplanes in here, which I don't have in here right now, but you can put in there. The BOSE has the same thing, and then it also has a indoor sleeve, and when you close it, it has an outdoor sleeve here you can tuck stuff into. So in terms of battery life, they both are rated about 20 hours, and I found that to be pretty accurate. Obviously, if you use the line inputs, so on the Sony there's a headset input here, headset input here on the BOSE, they're definitely going to get a little bit more battery life. I think BOSE is rated at 40, and the Sony, they don't really quote it, but I did get more when I used the audio input line, the aux input. In terms of the battery upgradability or replacement, the Sonys, they offer a 1-year one-time replacement of the battery, and then the BOSE has no such option. So they basically state that these are non-user upgradable, or I don't think they're too new to have some sort of program where you can send them in and have the battery replaced. I'm sure it can't be that difficult, because I can see some places you could take this apart, but it is nice to know that you can replace them here. However, to be honest, these batteries are rated at about 1,000 charge cycles, when given that they have a 20-hour charge cycle, even if you listened, 8 hours a day, you're gonna get, if you calculate it out, it's about, I think, over 7 years of use until the battery starts degrading. So not really an issue. I think by then you would probably have moved on to the next product cycle, or at least at that point maybe you could think about upgrading the battery, and they might have some sort of program in place, but it's pretty much on par for both of them. So the last thing I really want to go over is the audio quality, and in terms of, I'm sure you've all heard the saying, no highs, no lows, it must be BOSE. I think they've come a long way since that phrasing was coined. These sound pretty good, definitely punchy in the mid-range, and the low high end could be better, but don't leave that much to be desired. The MDRs, however, have high-res audio, and that is supported over Bluetooth and also with the line in, and it sounds pretty stellar. I've had some high-res audio content that I listened to in this, and it was just a notch above these. That being said, the bass on these is not super strong. It's, I think, noticeable in some of the songs that you would expect a lot more bass, but it does a pretty decent reproduction of it. And then the final thing I want to talk about is the comfort and fit. Personally, when I bought these, on paper I thought the MDRs were going to be way better because they're so much more feature rich, but I don't know, it kind of comes down to, I think, the weight and the distribution of it. But as you can see, when I wear it, they're pretty large headsets, and a lot of the weight's just focused right here, so it ended up putting a lot of pressure on my ear, and I'd find that when I would wear it for an hour and a half or more, it would start to kind of get uncomfortable, and I felt a lot of pressure on my ear. Whereas, the BOSE, I had the QC35s, the QC15s, the QC2s before, and I've never had an issue wearing the BOSE for, a very extended period of time, a flight, a train ride. So, yeah, I ended up choosing these as my daily driver. Maybe I just have a weird head shape, I don't know, because my roommate seems to love these, and he's never complained about the comfort, so just take that with a grain of salt. But for me, I chose these. I think these have a much richer feature set, and kind of glad to see Sony coming into the market and really producing a solid headset that in some ways outperforms the BOSE, which is kind of cool. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what Sony has to put out in the future and how BOSE will upgrade their firmware. But that's pretty much it, guys. So if you enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.